What's going on, guys? You're watching the Shieldbearer of Faith. Thank you for being here. So as you're watching the channel Shieldbearer of Faith, it has an obvious point to it of faith, right? And I decided months ago that if I ever made any money whatsoever, and I've still not made any money on here, but if I ever did, that all of it would go to God, because I really only started doing these videos to talk more about God. That was the main focus. But with that in mind, it occurred to me a few minutes ago that I haven't really shared my testimony with you guys on here, or very few of you. And I really believe in the power of testimony. So this is my story. In 2012, I was as far from God as I've ever been, drank really heavily. In fact, drank with my dad really heavily, and he's my best friend, always has been. We have done everything together as long as I can remember. I'm like a carbon copy of him. And when I was growing up, my family was always really close. And in 2012, that shattered all at once. Found out that my dad had done some stuff that was just not gonna be forgiven, really. It had shattered my family unit as I knew it, and in that, I lost everything that I really cared about. I also, at that time, had been very inconsistently dating my current wife, my now wife. And by inconsistently, guys, I was not a reliable person. About every 3 months, she could bank on the fact that I was gonna break up with her for something. I was just very unreliable, and that transitioned into my work life as well. You know, I was just an unreliable man. Drank a lot, had a huge porn addiction from like 11 years old on. And it does a lot to your mind and how you function. So my family unit gets shattered. I had broken up with my wife, my now wife, because we were dating at the time. And she was off at grad school, out of state, and you know, I didn't have anything. That's what it felt like anyway. I didn't have anything that really mattered. And I could feel it in here. I didn't realize how much anger I had internally from years and years of life. Whatever life had brought, I did not have a clue how much anger I had until I felt like I had nothing. And then the anger was so heavy that honestly, I was worried there for a minute that if somebody just bumped me on the shoulder by accident on the street, I was worried that I might hit them or something. Just the aggression internally was really, really bad. It's dangerous. And my dad went to a men's group one night after this whole family unit that I loved so much had been shattered by him. Went to a men's group run through a local church. He came back and he told my mom and I that he had planted his stake in the ground that day. And he told us that that meant he had given his life to Jesus. And I am not kidding you. I was like, you are joking. This is how you're going to try to fix this? My eyes rolled so hard. I was like, you are joking. I know you better than almost anybody on this planet. That ain't you. I know you. And he told me, you don't have to believe it. I don't expect you to. And you don't have to forgive me. I don't expect you to. But watch me, is what he told us. He said, watch, and you guys know me. If something is different, you will know. And so again, I just kind of shrugged it off, and I was like, whatever. Over the next few days, not weeks, days, I watched healing occurring between my parents. That should not have been possible given what happened. To the point where they stayed up all night one night and talked, and I woke up, and on the porch they were chatting. They hadn't gone to bed. And I'll be honest, it angered me even more. Even though deep down that's what I wanted to happen. I wanted things to be better than that. I didn't want my family to be fractured. But it angered me. It confused me. I was like, what is going on? My mom started to develop a forgiveness of her own. And I wasn't there. And my dad consistently for weeks asked me, will you join me? Will you come with me to these men's groups? I said, nah, man. Church is a bunch of hypocrites. That's what I thought. This God stuff ain't for me. I believe there is a God. I'm not going to these meetings. I don't want to hear it. Well, he kept inviting me, and finally I said, all right, you know what? I do still love you, man. I'll go with you to support you. He's like, all right, cool. So we go. The men's group is something like I'd never seen up to that point. Sit down and you're going to have a meal together. Big point there. Meal together. That is biblical. We sat down, you got like 4 or 5 guys, it's all guys in this case, at a table, and you got one dude that's like running the table. And they look straight at me and they ask, all right, so where are you at with your relationship with God? And I said, well, I believe there is a God. And they said, that's not what we asked you. Satan knows that there is a God. That is not what we asked you. And I'll be honest, it kind of caught me off guard, and I was like, And so I don't remember much more about that exact night. What I do remember is going back for weeks, every week with my dad, and that seed had been planted by my dad. Once he gave his life, the seed was planted in me, and I went to these meetings with an unknown purpose because I thought I was going to support him, and that's not why I was going. I just didn't know it. All this anger, right, still going on. Driving near the mall one day, I felt so distorted and torn and angry at everything that I was like, I'm seeing these changes in my dad. I don't know what's causing them. The dude used to have the most foul mouth I could know. He doesn't have that anymore. It's just gone, like it's never been there. He used to drink all the time. It's just gone, like it's never been there. He's a totally different man. And out loud, I confessed with my mouth that I don't have it figured out. I literally was riding in the car alone and I said, God, I don't even know if you're real. But my life, it's not working my way. My way is not working. And I'm so angry all the time, and I am so tired of being angry at everything. And so I don't know if you're real or not, but I'm going to give my life to you. And I'm asking you to show me. So I always tell it like it was a Tuesday or something. I don't remember what day it was, but let's say it was a Tuesday. That Sunday, I went to church for the first time in a long time. And I went by myself. I wanted to go. I didn't really have a full understanding of why I was going, but I felt like I meant that prayer. And that was like the follow-up. I need to go see what God is going to show me and go to an environment where he'll show me. And I was sitting in like the 3rd row, and they played this one specific song. And I don't even remember the rest of the song, but this one specific line was, I'm alive, you breathe on me and you revive me. And I have never felt something like that. The Holy Spirit physically hit me in that moment. I was pouring tears. I have never cried so hard in my life as I did right then. I felt so unredeemably guilty about everything I had ever done to anyone ever, all at once. And at the same time, I felt so forgiven. I felt so different. And I get chills right now even talking about it. I had to sit down. I was crying so hard. Took my glasses off. I had to cover my face. The lady next to me must have think I had killed somebody or something. It was bad. I was bawling. I don't remember anything else about that whole service. Nothing. But I got hit with the Holy Spirit in a way that I cannot deny. I cannot explain it away. I've never felt anything similar. And almost every time that I ever share my testimony here with anybody, almost every time I get chills. And that to me is the Spirit reassuring me. So fast forward a little bit. I got to go to those meetings with my dad for 2 years until they stopped having them. Learned about all kinds of biblical stuff, learned about prayer, learned about God, learned about Jesus, learned about the difference in believing there's a God and following him. They are not the same. That's why I use the term Christ follower. It is an action, an everyday, repetitive action that I will follow what Christ tells me to do. And it's not always easy. But I will tell you, I've never felt a motivator like the Spirit. It's amazing the things that you can do or that you want to do, the drive you have when the Holy Spirit is that fuel. My dad and I ended up getting baptized in the James River together sometime after those meetings started. I got to see healing happen with not just my dad and my mom, but me and my entire family. And shortly after that, my now wife gave her life to Christ. And I got to baptize her. God is talking to you, whoever you are. This video might get 5 views. But to anyone out there that is listening to this, God is talking to you. He's looking for you. And maybe you've already given your life to him, but do you repetitively do that every day? Do you repetitively continue to follow Christ? Because it is a continuous action. I am not a perfect man. I am not a good man. Because none are good. Only God. But I am not the same man that I once was. Because I got to see and hear another man and see how he changed. Don't underestimate the power of testimony. Don't underestimate how important and how powerful your actions are for the kingdom of heaven. I hope this helps in some way. This is the Shieldbearer Faith channel. It could easily just be called God's channel. Alright guys, let me know what you think, and I'll see you later.